So what is the mindset? You mentioned mindset. What is the mindset that somebody needs to have?
It's the shift. It's the shift in the process, right? Because like we talked about before, loans is quick, credit is quick. I'll say it like this. A lot of people, they'll upload, 50 resumes to different employers in order to be able to get a job that's going to pay them a set amount of hourly wage.
Hmm.
But when you tell them that there's grants out there, they're not willing to do the same process. Create a proposal, a resume, find grantors, employers, and submit that grant application or that grant proposal in order to get amount of money that can actually build their legacy. The mindset shift that has to change is genuinely the feeling like you're worthy, what your worth is. Because if you're willing to sit down and apply for $15 an hour, $30 an hour, $50 an hour, why aren't you willing to sit down and apply for 50,000 that could actually keep you debt free and build your business and create your legacy that you saw fit in your own vision? So that's really the shift that needs to happen is the worth.
Mm. We talked about shift. We talked about scalable businesses prior to starting this. I wonder when you look at it, the businesses that are applying for grants, how many are in the tech space? We talk about growth and we can see where the economy is headed. We see what the market looks like in terms of what is actually moving the market. We know what it is, obviously what we do from an investment standpoint, but we need creators. We need people that are innovating. How many people or how much do you stress that we're looking for businesses in the technology sector?
From as us as a company,
Right.
we don't really stress what industries that we try to work for.
Hmm.
In particular, we more so help who's in need.
Hmm.
But I will say that, like for instance, Web3, they just won a $5 million grant, a blockchain grant.
Hmm.
And I keep telling people that if you're not utilizing artificial intelligence to increase your operations or, creating employees or to decrease the amount of overhead that you have in your company, you're definitely going to be behind. And there's a lot of grants that are out right now for innovation, especially sustainability and environmental innovation, that they're wanting you to get this money. They're wanting you to get these grant funds because they need more businesses that are in that space, 100%.
Mm.
So what's some of the challenges that you had as far as scaling your business?
Challenges that I had was talent, right? Talent is always a thing. People come to that interview, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to work, and 2 months in, you're like, hold on, what's going on here? So talent acquisition has always been something because what we do is very technical, and you have to just be excellent at it, period. So that's been something that has always been a struggle with growing our
So
company.
have you used AI? I know you said that you don't really encourage people to use AI to write
The grant
proposal,
proposal.
but inside of your business, are you using AI?
We do. We've created literal bots for customer service, right? Phones. People always try to call and ask 1,000 questions. So we have, AI that does that. Then we also have AI that we use for, like I said, on the grant writing side, deep research, alignment, understanding funders from different standpoints. That's really how we're using it for the most part. Now I use it. I was just telling Troy, I'm like, I'm ready to write a book. He's like, man, yeah, I can write that book. Like, so it's we're using it daily.
Yeah, one of the things you said, one of the challenges is having the talent, retaining the talent. I'm sure is an issue when you have it. I want to know, like from a competitive standpoint, I'm sure there's people in your industry who are watching what you're doing and saying, "Oh, we can do that. Oh, we can be better." What gives you that that competitive advantage against people that are doing similar things to what Pink Print does?
I think really it's because we have a data driven approach. A lot of times with grant tours, they're not looking at it from a business owner perspective. They're grant writers. I'm also a business owner. So I'm looking at, okay, how do we create, for instance, when we first started Pink Print, what we did with every single client is we created 2 proposals, only 2. And those 2 proposals we will apply to every single grant that we applied to. I was doing an A/B split test. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, if we send B proposal to, these corporate grants and we send A proposal to these corporate grants, which one has the best result? So now we're understanding from a data-driven perspective what messaging works, what type of sentence structure works the best, what type of budget alignment works the best. Like it's really the data-driven approach that we have. And that comes from entrepreneur mindset, not just a grant writer mindset.
Mm-hmm.
A grant writer is going to be good for helping you create messaging, helping you follow the rules of the grant opportunity. But you need somebody who's looking at it as a business owner too, because you're running a business and you really do need that data-driven approach. That's what makes us different.